Hello everyone, this is Bloody Bananas. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to showcase a team that brought us all the way to the top 10 on the global leaderboard. It consists of Talonflame with Fire Spin, Flame Charge, and birdddd in the lead, Clefable with Charm, Meteor Mash, a Psychic as our safe swap, and then we have Scrafty with Counter, Foul Play, Power Up Punch as our finisher in this team. The reason why I'm running Talonflame in the lead is because we're seeing a lot of the poison types and a lot of the steel types, steel bug types being the Warmerdam, and also we're seeing a lot of charmers, and Talonflame has a lot of play against the fighters that we're seeing because we do resist the counter damage. And then we have a Clefable safe swap, because once you safe swap into the Clefable, the opponent is very likely to bring out their charmer as well, because they don't want their charmer to face up against our Talonflame. And once that charmer is out of that picture, even though we go down with our Clefable, once we draw out one of their charmer, our Scrafty can usually roam free in the back. And being the MVP Scrafty is, sometimes we have to rely on the Scrafty in order to finish up the game. And without further ado, let's get into some of the battles. We're gonna dive deep into every single battle to explain my thought process behind every move that I make. Obviously, I'm gonna make some misplays, but we'll see. So obviously, this is a very bad lead. We need to switch out into our Clefable right away, being that safe swap we have. And we see that charmer here, Wigglytuff. Unless this is a double charmer team, we're still looking pretty good here, right? If it's a double charmer team, this team is very tough to deal with if it's a double charmer team. It depends on the version of the double charmer. If they're running Medicham, we do have some play, but if it's the fish, Lomo Momola with double charmer, then usually it's very, very tough. Let's see how we play this game and if they have double charmer in the back. I'm just gonna say this straight out, because double charmers are very tough for this team. Luckily, I didn't see that many. I didn't see as many as I thought I was going to. So let's see if this is indeed a double charmer. If it is, it's probably game over for us, right? So we do go for the birdddd. It will do a lot of damage. Birdddd does damage to almost everything. It does a ton of damage. That's the reason why I love Talonflame so much. But it turns out that they do have a second charmer. So against this team, there is really nothing you can do. I'm only showcasing this team against like double charmer because it kind of showcases you really don't have, there isn't much you can do against the double charmers. Let's see if this is another double charmer against a Medicham. Okay, they safe swap. They go into Slowbro. So they had a Medicham, right? I'm gonna save a move and then go into my Scrafty, which is a very good counter to Slowbro. This way our Scrafty avoids their Medicham, right? And they do go for one Ice Beam. In fact, we also have a very good Medicham counter in the back, being our Clefable. So we're not worried about the Medicham. We do want to take switch advantage if possible here, which we should be able to finish this Slowbro off. Yep, we counter it down. They will farm us down with the Medicham, which is okay. We still have a very good response to the Medicham being our charmer in the back. We throw the foul play. We're gonna get countered down here, so we're gonna bring out the charmer for sure here. Just gonna wait the switch clock out because we did swapping a little late compared to my opponent. We bring out the charmer. They go for the Psychic. I don't really need to shield the Psychic. We were able to tank one without a problem. Okay, and it turns out that they had a charmer in the back. Luckily, we saved the flame charge. This is still a bit rough because they do have 2 shields. That means we have to get to basically 3 flame charges in order to KO this Clefable. It all comes down to they sneaking a couple fast moves through at this point. Luckily, they only sneaked in 1 the first time I threw the flame charge, but they didn't get another one on the second time I threw my flame charge. We're able to get the 2 shields, and now it's a race to see if we can get to the flame charge, and we are able to get to the flame charge. Talonflame does have a little bit of bulk to it. It's basically like a Walmart Charizard, except that it does have a better stat product, and at this point my opponent gives up and we end up with 2 shields up. So very good game. Next up we have Talonflame versus Medicham. Yet again, we're seeing a lot of Medicham, which is fine for this team. They go into Slowking, which is very similar to what the opponent did last time. Again, we're going to bring out a Scrafty most likely. We save a move on the bird. It will do a lot of damage to almost everything that we're going to see. I believe I counted, and I don't think this was an overheat, so we just tanked the Psychic. And we're going to get to the Foul Play relatively fast compared to the Slowking. We do go for the Foul Play right away. There's no reason in baiting because most likely my opponent is not going to shield, right? My opponent actually do shield here because they want to grab 1 shield from me to make this game a 1 shield to 1 shield, which is fine. Usually when shields are down, it's actually a lot better for us because we do have a nuke in our Talonflame's Brave Bird, right? I think this team, a lot of times you do have to make aggressive swaps in order to bait out the Charmer, and then let your bird to farm down the Charmer and then do a lot of damage to whatever comes back. We see a little bit of lag, but they bring out the Medicham, and obviously we're not able to get to a foul play here because they did shield and did a few more confusions than last time. We let the Scrafty go down. We bring out the Charmer. They have a Lolo Momola, so we're just gonna stay in this because obviously we can't bring out our fire type against this pesky little fish, right? We're gonna shield their Psychic. A little Momola gets 2 Psychics in 7 waterfalls. I'm gonna throw my charge moves right away, at least to grab the shield, because we almost have a move on our bird, right? And they do shield, so at this point I think it's okay for us to even go down here because all we need to do is get to the bird in order to KO. Like them killing us here is actually even better for us because now we're able to fire spin down the water fish, and we're gonna come out with a Brave Bird to basically one-shot this Medicham. Even though Medicham is very tanky, but Brave Bird does a lot of damage, and it's an absolute nuke. There we go. Boom shakalaka. Alright. And we did extremely well since Love Cup came out. We only did around like 70 battles, which translates into 14 sets, but we were able to climb almost 150 points to get to rank 9 on the global leaderboard. Let's see, we have a cast form, relatively neutral matchup, but we have to stay aim because our Clefable does not like seeing this cast form. They're gonna throw a Weather Ball, which does not do that much damage because we do resist the Weather Ball, the Fire Weather Ball. Let's see if I bait here or do I go for the straight Brave Bird. Alright, we go for the straight bird. We're looking to bird down this little sun. Are we able to land this bird? Are we able to land this bird? We are able to land this bird. We were against Battle Bill. It was I think they actually had like a wrong team, so it was a little interesting. But we safe swap immediately because we do have to draw out the Charmer if they do have it. it's possible that for them to have a charmer in the back, right? Because they do have a fire type to cover for poison or bug types. So luckily they didn't really have a charmer in the back, and our Scrafty should be able to handle this game, and there is not much my opponent can do at this point. If they shielded the cast form, it would be a lot closer game, I believe, but it was definitely a very tough call for my opponent, because obviously no one wants to shield a flame charge, right? Shielding a flame charge is like almost equivalent of shielding a power-up punch, which just feels really bad because you're not shielding much damage and you're giving your opponent a boost for basically free. And at this point, our Scrafty can handle this Alomola by itself. They actually go for a psychic bait, but they should not be able to get to another Hydro Pump anyways in order to KO. We just go for straight power punches. Eventually they do have to shield. And do we just go for one more in order to KO? My opponent actually gets to a psychic here, I believe, which actually does not KO our Scrafty. Scrafty is very, very tanky, and it also resists the psychic type because of its dark typing. Alright, we're able to take this game as well. So obviously this team does have some weaknesses, right? Like I mentioned earlier, double charmers in the back are extremely hard to deal with. So let's see how we do here. Keep going with this team. I really enjoy Scrafty because Scrafty has play against almost everything, as long as it's not a charmer. If it's charmer, then Scrafty is like non-existent, right? You might as well just have two Pokemon. This is like the greatest lead, Wormadam, so they're obviously going to swap out right away. And let's see if we can just counter whatever they have. They bring out a Mr. Mime. That is extremely interesting. So I believe we go for a Flame Charge. They have to respect the damage because Mr. Mime is very squishy. We are able to get a shield here. And then we go into our Charmer because their Wormadam is a huge wall against my Clefable, and I definitely want to avoid that matchup. That's the reason why I'm bringing out the Clefable here. We do shield a Shadow Ball. So now we basically just charm down this Mr. Mime. He's not going to get to another move. We almost have a move, but I imagine the Wormadam is going to farm us down all the way here. Yep, which is not the best thing because Wormadam with a lot of energy still will do a lot of damage. Talonflame is not the tankiest Pokemon, right? Luckily we chunk it down as well. Wormadam is a few fire spins away from going down. We did swap out a little bit late, so we're going to wait out the switch clock here to make sure that we have the switch available as well. We don't have to shield anything right now. We could tank whatever they throw at us. It is an Iron Head, and we tanked that pretty well. They come out with the Slowbro, and our Scrafty should be able to outpace the Slowbro to 2 foul plays before the Slowbro gets to 2 moves. On top of that, Scrafty should be able to tank a move fairly well. Although this is a shadow, so it could do a little bit more. It could be a little more close than I expected. One thing that is very interesting that I didn't know is that Scrafty loses CMP to a Slowbro. I'm not sure if we're gonna see that happen later in this video, but that is definitely something to keep in mind of. You don't want to overfarm too much sometimes when you see that Slowbro versus Scrafty matchup. So we're able to take that game as well. That was a pretty straightforward game. When we win lead, this team can definitely go on a tear because we have a very strong core in the back. Scrafty and the Clefable pretty much covers each other's weaknesses very well, right? Alright, this is a Medicham. It could be anything in the back. Medicham is an absolute beast in this Love Cup, because it just does so well. Even against its counters, it still has Psychic. It just has so much neutral damage to hit back to even its counters. We're going to throw a straight up Flame Charge there to boost up our damage. We're going to respect the Psychic damage here. Yep, and then we're basically going to farm a lot of energy and hopefully throw one more before they get to another Psychic, which we should be able to outpace. We should be able to outpace the Medicham to a Flame Charge anyway, so we're going to throw right away. Does my opponent shield? My opponent does shield. So we're going to shield whatever they throw here and then basically farm down. If they have double Charmer in the back, we basically just have to rely on our bird to finish off the game, right? We're gonna farm down at this point. We do have a Flame Charge, almost have a Flame Charge. I think I should throw the Flame Charge, but instead I saved the Flame Charge to see what they have in the back. It turned out they had a Vile Plume in the back, so this game is kind of rough. Are we able to get a shield here? If we do get a shield, it would be very good. Or if we take down this Vile Plume, it will also be very good. Oh, okay, we actually take out the Vile Plume. So we get a little bit more damage on the Electrode. Now it's going to be a very, very close game. They do have a shield, but we do a lot of fast move damage with our Scrafty. So I believe I bring out the Scrafty, and then I'm just going to keep going for the power-up punches. I believe this is a Hyper Beam, but Hyper Beam does not KO. Yep, we're able to tank the Hyper Beam. I think I make a mistake here. Yep, I definitely make a mistake here. If I just go for the straight foul play and then hopefully throw our Flame Charge with our bird, we should just be able to take this game, right? Right now I should swap out and throw the Flame Charge. Oh, never mind. Never mind. Apparently I could just counter down because they couldn't really throw a move. They had to come out of that matchup with the energy in order to fight, in order to KO our bird as well. So that's why they kept farming down. And I realized that staying in and I could just power punch down the Electrode all the way. So, well, good play by me. Alright, we're against the Electrode, so we're going to swap out right away into our Clefable. They only did 3 volt switches there, so we're definitely not going to shield this because Clefable is able to tank 1 discharge. They actually come out with the Execute. I'm not sure if that's XL, but it looks like it's a little bit of XL. At this point, I was wondering what they could have in the back, and I was thinking that it's possible for them to have something like a double Psychic types, right? Maybe like a Slowbro or Slowpoke. My opponent does a very smart thing here. He doesn't allow me to farm energy here by basically just not attacking, and then attacking when he only has a very few health for me to farm down. So, well, this could be considered a smart play, but at the same time, if they farm me all the way down, if they didn't let us get that much damage, maybe they were able to get to another Ancient Power, which would kind of threaten our shield or taking out our Talonflame. So there's always that silver lining there if that was a good play by my opponent. Here we have 2 shields where we have a shield advantage. We might as well shield here to preserve our Scrafty because we don't know what they have in the back. They're not swapping out, so we know they probably have something weak in the back, and it turned out to be something I don't know the name of, but it's it's a new generation Fire Pokemon's evolution. I make a really dumb play by going up for the Power Punch. There's really no reason for me to go for the Power Punch because 2 foul plays should almost be enough. Maybe I wasn't sure, but my opponent knows that we're gonna outpace anyways, and they only have 1 shield. We also had a shield, so good game to my opponent. Scrafty is very strong in the end game as long as the charmers are taken out by our bird. Let's see, next game we have Talonflame versus Slowbro. Very bad lead. Do I go for safe swap right away? I do safe swap right away into our charmer, Clefable. The reason why I prefer Clefable a little better than Wigglytuff is that Clefable resists the fighting damage, while Wigglytuff takes damage, neutral damage from the counters from Scrafty and Metachams. So I think it's a little safer to go into Clefable instead of Wigglytuff. Here I make a misplay. I could have just thrown the Meteor Mash a turn before, but I got greedy. I wanted to get to the Psychic, so that is very bad for us because we weren't able to take out a shield. If we just threw the Meteor Mash, my opponent was probably gonna shield anyways. So that was definitely a misplay by me. We're gonna tank the discharge because we're not sure what they have in the back, right? We're gonna farm all the way down. We're gonna counter down the Electrode, and then we're gonna see what we can do against their backline. We still have a very healthy bird, and bird is very strong against a lot of the Pokemon that we're gonna see. So here we go for a foul play. Do I save a move? I almost have a move here. And then I go into my bird against their Slowbro. Their Slowbro does have a little bit of energy, but we get energy so much more faster with our bird compared to the bro. They do have 2 shields. We swapped out a little earlier, so we also got an energy lead. Are we able to take out the Slowbro? Let's see. Let's see. We do have to shield this one. We're gonna just keep throwing these flame charges in order to get the shields from my opponent. Okay, I overfarm just a little bit, and then I go for the flame charge. I'm hoping to grab a shield here from my opponent, right? If we grab a shield, that would be very good. But my opponent actually doesn't shield. He's saving the shield for the Metacham. This is very dangerous, guys. My opponent throws a move here. If this is a Psychic, it takes us out, and we'll almost take out our Scrafty as well. But luckily, it was a power punch, and we survived with 1 HP. And we're able to get to this flame charge, which is super crucial to this game. We grab that last shield, and now it's a race. We're 2 counters away from foul play. We throw the foul play here. Insane Scrafty. Scrafty is so strong in this meta. And we take out the Metacham with 1 HP on 2 Pokemon. And that is a great game. GG to my opponent. Next up, we're against Fire Rock. Let's see, we have Talonflame versus Charizard. This is a very interesting matchup. Charizard does win this matchup if it lands a Blast Burn and a Dragon Claw. It will be able to KO us. We win this matchup by landing a bird, right? But Charizard cannot tank a bird. We're able to tank a Blast Burn, however. So we're going to tank the Blast Burn. I believe we go for a bait here because it's very risky for my opponent to not shield this Brave Bird, especially in the lead matchup where I could just swap out right away. My opponent does shield, so we're going to try to catch a move here, I think. Yep, I know my opponent is going to go for the Dragon Claw. And I was able to catch it on my Charmer, which does very minimal damage. Actually forces my opponent to swap out into a Wormadam, so we're looking very good here. Well, not in the greatest situation, but we do have a shield advantage, and we're able to bait out something. It's not necessarily weak. Our Scrafty, not necessarily weak, but we are able to farm down with our Scrafty, I believe. Here. And also that kind of shows my opponent probably does not have a Charmer. It is possible that my opponent still have a Charmer in the back. What I'm hoping for is that my opponent does not have a Charmer at this point, right? If they do have a charmer, then it's probably game over anyways, because I was going to lose the lead matchup. Here, I got a little bit greedy, and I had to actually give up both of my shields. I really thought I was going to farm all the way down. So, very, very unfortunate here. Let's see what they bring out. They do have another charmer, so that is pretty much game over. There's not much we can do here. If we stayed in and lost the lead, then we're going to get hard countered in the back anyways. If we, it doesn't matter how we play this out, because they basically have perfect counters for every Pokemon that I had. The only real way I could have won this game was winning the lead matchup. But it's a very hard lead for Talonflame to reliably win, right? Let's see. I think we're going to face another Charizard here, actually. Yep, we're against Danfelco. As the time of making this video, Danfelco is rank 1 on the leaderboard. So definitely shout out to Danfelco. Very, very talented trainer. I play him almost every single day. Let's see. Because the last game I took so much damage from the Blast Spring, I actually decided to shield here, and I shielded a bait of Dragon Claw, which is very unfortunate. And my opponent has Wing Attack here, which also does a lot more damage than Fire Spin. So it's not looking very good for us. I'm actually going to try to catch a move here, the play that we made last time. Oh, okay, I'm going to go for the Flame charge. Because my opponent got the CMP tie, I was just going to let my bird go down. It turned out that my opponent baits again with the Dragon Claw. So we're just going to throw our Flame Charge here. That was a CMP tie. This puts my opponent at a tough situation. They do decide to shield. At this point, we have one shield advantage, and we actually go into our Scrafty. Because obviously Scrafty is a little better against the Charizard. And I kind of want to preserve our Clefable. I don't want to show my Clefable right away. It's also very possible that my opponent is running a double fighter team, which is very common, right? When you see that Charizard, you can always kind of have that hesitation if your opponent is running double fighter in the back. And if they are running double fighter, then you do really want to preserve your Charmer in order to finish off the game. Let's see. We do get farmed pretty much all the way down. I believe I bring out my bird here in order to soak up some damage. And we're just relying on our Clefable in order to finish this game. Yep, I do bring out my Talonflame to soak up all of these damage. Because at this point, I'm just putting all my faith on the fact that there is a Scrafty in the back. And let's see if we do see a Scrafty in the back. Let's see what my opponent does here. It is actually a Electrode. So very interesting. Extremely interesting team composition. I really thought there was another Scrafty, but it makes sense. This team is a lot more consistent than the double fighter team because Electrode is a very good safe swap. So we're gonna farm. We sneak in the charm there. We have to shield this. I believe my opponent actually goes for combo play, but they're not quite at a Blast Spring yet. They didn't go for the combo play, but they're able to get a move here. If this is a Dragon Claw, are we able to survive a Dragon Claw? I don't think they're at a Blast Spring, so we do survive a Dragon Claw with 1 HP. Yet again, another game, we finish with 1 HP on pretty much both of our Pokemon. So extremely close game. Very good game to Danfelco. Extremely well played by him. I think he played that really well by baiting the Dragon Claws. It was very close. Next up, we are against Alomomola, which is a very bad matchup. We have to swap out, go into our safe swap right away. This matchup is a little interesting because I think we do win it if we sneaking a move against the Alomomola. Same can be said for the Alomomola. They're able to get to the moves a lot faster. So it's a very close matchup. They bring out the Charmer, which is good. Now I'm thinking, could this be a double Charmer yet again? If this is a double Charmer, then we kind of have to rely on our Talonflame to finish off the game, right? I think I actually make a huge mistake here by not shielding the Talonflame. Yep. This is a huge mistake, as you guys are going to see, because the Ice Beam is able to chunk almost half of our health. And at this point, if they do have another Charmer in the back, our Talonflame is not able to handle that Charmer, that second Charmer. We can't even handle this Charmer. We can't even fast move down this Charmer with our Talonflame. This just goes to show how much damage Charm really does to even Pokemon that resists Charm, right? It's just such a crazy, insane move. And as we suspected, there is another Charmer that's behind the fish, and this is not looking very good at all. We go down with 2 shields. They win the game with 1 shield remaining, and unfortunately, double Charmer is extremely rough. There are cases where we were able to win against double Charmer, but most of the time, if you do see double Charmer, it's kind of a auto lose, which is fine, right? Because if you think about the meta, there are a lot of poison types and steel bug types like Wormadam, and a lot of fire types. So if you're running a double Charmer team, you're very likely to lose to those poison, fire, steel teams, right? So it just becomes a circle of counters in the meta, which we see a lot of in all kind of leagues, right? In Ultra League, we see the double Charmer, double Dragon, counter double Dragon, and then double Dragon counters all the started Pokemon, and then the starter Pokemon counters all the Charmers. So it's like a circle of countering each other, which is fine, which is what the meta usually looks like, right? You have the meta, the anti-meta, and then the meta that beats the anti-meta. So here we're against a Mr. Mime. Once again, the second Mr. Mime we're seeing. Extremely interesting and spicy pick. I respect my opponent for running this. It's very squishy, so my opponent does have to shield. We go into our safe swap. We have to draw out a Charmer if they do have one. We do have to shield the Psychic. It does tons of damage. I believe it will almost just one shot. They bring out a Licky. Very interesting, very strong Pokemon. Bulky. It's kind of like a Snorlax of this league. But we do have a very good answer to this Licky as well in the back in our Scrafty. Resists the Shadow Ball and the Licks, and the Body Slams we're able to tank very well with our Scrafty. We go for a Meteor Mash here. They threw the Body Slam, it wasn't able to KO. We actually grabbed that last shield. So one important thing to keep in mind of with this team is shields are very, very important. Getting opponent's shields, because if you take out opponent's shields, your bird can carry the entire game with one Brave Bird. If you're able to land a Brave Bird on anything, it will pretty much almost KO, right? The problem is a lot of times you're not going to land those Brave Birds. So you always have to keep in mind of how do I apply more shield pressure? How do I get shields? Sometimes you have to go for the safe swap as well, because a lot of times you could pressure a shield unless it's something that super hard counters your Charmer. And especially if they bring out their own Charmer, then your Charmer, because you swapped out earlier, you're going to get to the Meteor Mash and most likely force a shield, right? And like we said, they don't have any shields. We farm down the Mr. Mime. We get to the Brave Bird and we KO very easily with our KO the Medicham from full HP with our bird. Next up, we're against a Porygon 2. Okay, this is a very spicy game. I think my opponent actually plays extremely well in this game. So kudos to my opponent for sure, for running a spice pick and for playing extremely well. Here, they get to the tri-attacks very fast, I think it's about 3 fire spins and 1 turn. After 3 fire spins, they do get to a try attack. So it's super spammy. It does have our health, so it definitely chunked. We go for a flame charge here. My opponent also has 2 shield, and then I swap out right away into our Clefable. They have another one here. I believe I don't shield this try attack. It will do a lot of damage, however, as you guys are going to see. Oh, this is the game where my opponent made an insane play. I did not expect my opponent to make such a good play. So we have Talonflame, which is good against their Charmer, right? And then we bring out our Clefable. So it's like a perfect time for my opponent to bring out their own Charmer if they have one. But they bring out a Slowbro. But Slowbro is also a counter to our Talonflame. At this point, I'm thinking there is almost no way that they have a Charmer in the back, right? Because if they have a Charmer in the back, it just makes sense to bring out the Charmer. Because they have 2 Pokemon that hard counters my, well, not hard counters, but one of the Pokemon in the back hard counters my bird. And then they have a Porygon, which chunked a lot of health from our bird. So I'm just going to farm down, right? I'm thinking there is not a second Charmer. We're going to throw this power-up punch before they get to another move. We don't want to get too greedy here. And let's see what they have in the back. Turn out they have another Charmer. They do have a Charmer in the back. Which it was... I think it literally blew my mind after this game. Because if I was on my opponent's end, I would bring out a Charmer 10 out of 10 times. When I see a Talonflame lead, and I have another Pokemon in the back being Slowbro that super hard counters this Talonflame, I'm thinking I gotta sack this Charmer. But I think my opponent probably knows my playstyle. He knows that I swapped out of a neutral matchup, being the bird versus Porygon, but I swapped out. So why did I swap out? My opponent is probably thinking. That's why he took a while to swap out as well. So he figured out that I was trying to bait something out. And what could I be trying to bait out? Probably a Charmer. Hence, my opponent makes an insane play, right? So definitely kudos to my opponent. Here we're against House Stark, a very strong trainer. Everyone knows. They have a Lolomola. I kind of just bring out my Scrafty, but I think the game was a little bit weird there. We swapped out a little bit too late. I think he got 2 waterfalls worth of damage. And we're gonna ramp up with our power punch here. Yep, they got... Okay, that was a little bit weird. They got to 4 waterfalls when we only got to 5 counters, which should not really happen, but let's see what we do here. So there was a little bit of lag, right? Because usually Scrafty should be able to win this game very reliably, like extremely reliably. Let's see how we do here. We go for a pop, we bait a shield, that is great. Now I'm thinking we definitely should be able to get to the foul play before. Nope, we don't get to the foul play before. And then I actually didn't do the calculation on the turns. They did get to 2 waterfalls first, but for whatever reason we got outpaced by the fish. So I think it's 14 waterfalls, so that translates into 42 turns. And then it takes us 17 counters to get 2 power punches and 1 foul play. So that's 34 turns. But they got 2 waterfalls. Theoretically, I think we should still be able to outpace there. But I think there was a little bit of lag, so we weren't able to win that matchup. But as you guys are gonna see, it actually doesn't matter if we won that matchup because they have a Mad Cargo in the back, which hard counters my Charmer and hard counters my bird. So there is nothing I could do there. The only thing that I could have done is bring out my Clefable against their fish and win that switch advantage, and then it's a very straightforward win for us. But we didn't know what they were running, right? We didn't expect them a gargle, and we got baited out with our Scrafty. So unfortunately, we lost that game. And a good game to House Stark. Very strong trainer, very strong trainer. I battle him almost every day. and I lose a lot of times. A lot of times I absolutely get wrecked by Hofstark. Alex, very strong trainer. This is a good lead. My opponent stays in. This is very interesting. They must have something extremely weak to our Talonflame if they're staying in this matchup, right? What do we do here? We shield. And they come up with a little Mola. Are we gonna... Okay, we go for a birdddd first. This will chunk a big percentage of the health. Let's see. They do shield. They do respect the bird damage. And then we're going to our Scrafty. Scrafty is a very good matchup against Alomola generally because we do resist the sidekick. And our power punches will do a lot of damage. We'll ramp up our counters. Let's see how I play this. Here, I think I do shield here. I do respect the water, the hydro pump that could be coming out of here, which it was a hydro pump, so it will almost KO us. And then we see some visual lags here, but appear to be neutral. We farm a lot more. Then we go for a power punch here, which is a debatable play. Maybe I should just go for the foul play in order to finish off. As you guys are gonna think, maybe I got a little too greedy. Actually, okay, that was almost a perfect farm then, throwing the power punch. It was very close anyways. And then they bring out their Charmer. So they had 2 Charmers. Actually, no, that was the Charmer that almost died. And then we're against a Vileplume, and luckily we get to a foul play before our Scrafty go down. Which should do a lot of damage to this Vileplume. Yep. And at this point, I think 1 Fire Spin will be able to take out this Vileplume. Yep, and that's what we do. So that was actually very close. If we didn't get that last foul play on our Scrafty, it's very possible that we end up losing that game, right? So extremely close. This is a very good lead against a Scolipede. It's a very interesting lead that we're going to see a lot of. And then going to Electrode, I go into my Charmer. I want to avoid the Scolipede versus my Charmer matchup. They do build up to a Hyper Beam before they throw. We're going to respect the beam damage. We definitely do not want to get beamed. But they bait us with a Discharge, which is fine because they should not be able to get to a beam after they bait us. They actually really wanted to get to the beam, but you either go for the beam or you get 2 discharges off, generally, as an Electrode versus a Charmer, because Electrode is very squishy and Charm just chunks down. So they bring out the Scolipede, farms us all the way down. This is still a little bit dangerous. We're going to bring out our Talonflame right away because the switch clock is still up. We're going to bring out right away. No hesitation. If you stay too long, they're going to swap right away, right? We're going to take the advantage of the switch clock here. Yep, we're able to get a little bit more farm. We're throwing the Flame Charge before they get to a Sludge Bomb. Axe Scissors should not be able to KO, but Sludge Bomb will KO us at this range. And they actually shield. That is very interesting. They probably think we have double Charmer, which makes sense. If we do have double Charmer, then my opponent is in a very tough situation, right? So I respect the shield because my opponent has very strong belief that I had double Charmers in the back. At this point, we don't even need to shield this, I believe. We can just farm down the Slowbro and store a foul play in order to KO that Scolipede in the back. We farm it all the way down. We have a foul play. We're going to throw it away. We're just going to throw. My opponent gets a move, but it's a CMP tie. We do have a shield. All we have to do is shield this and throw the foul play if it goes through. And it was a CMP tie, so we basically ensured the win here with our Scrafty at the end. Very good play to my opponent. Extremely close. I think if they didn't shield, it would be a lot closer. But most likely my Scrafty was going to handle the Slowbro in the back anyways. Another Charizard. We're seeing a lot of Charizards. Whenever you see Charizard, you have to think if this is a double fighter team. Because that's very possible. It could be a double fighter. It could be double Charm. It could be a Medicham. I think Medicham is a very likely Pokemon in the back whenever you see a Charizard. So keep that in mind. My opponent doesn't bait here. It's always a bait game against a Charizard. They actually do swap into Medicham. So now I'm thinking it's probably a double fighter, right? The fact that they safe swap into this, they do have to shield and respect the bird. So we get the shield anyways. And now I'm thinking it's probably double fighter, right? So do I end up shielding here? I do not shield. Okay. This will chunk 60% of our health. That's why Medicham is such a strong Pokemon. It does so much damage even to its worst counters, right? They bring out the Charizard. Now I'm thinking it's probably just a double fighter team in the back, especially if they shield this. Let's see if they shield. They do end up shielding. We have 2 shield advantage. If this is another Scrafty in the back, we basically have to win anyways. I think I can bring out my Talonflame or our Scrafty. We do have to shield whatever they throw. Especially if it's a Scrafty in the back, it's all going to come down to fast move pressure, right? So we do shield a Dragon Claw bait, which is fine, and it turned out that they do have a Scrafty in the back. And we do have a shield remaining, and we got 1 extra counter. At this point, we should be able to just counter down. We're going to throw the Power Punch right away in order to ramp up. We don't actually need to shield, especially since we got a counter through there. We're 1 counter above my opponent. And now we should be able to just farm down this Scrafty. We almost have a foul play here. We're 1 counter away. Get that 1 counter. We tank that 1 fire spin. And we finish off the game with our Scrafty with the shield up. And almost a very, not a very healthy, but a decently healthy Talonflame. So that's it for the battles, I believe. Yep, like I said, this team is so much fun to play. Talonflame is such a strong Pokemon, especially if you're able to land those Brave Birds even to its worst adversaries. It will still do a ton of damage. And Scrafty is an absolute beast, especially in the end game when the Charmer is out of the picture. Scrafty can absolutely go town, right? Like I said, we ended 9th on the global leaderboard with this team, so it definitely has its place in this meta. It also has some weaknesses against double Charmers, but it all happens, right? You can never build a perfect team, and no matter what team you build, no matter how many wins you go on a streak with, you're still gonna run into a team that eventually will beat your team, right? So yep, so that's it for this video. Hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content, and make sure to make a comment if you would like to see some things done differently. I really appreciate all of you that watches my video, and I wish the best of luck to you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.